Hello, this is Right Side Trader. Today is January 23rd, 2026, and this is my weekly market review where I'm reviewing the Dow 30, that's DIA, on a quarterly chart, monthly chart, weekly chart, and a daily chart. This is all for educational purposes only, no trade recommendation, because as we all know, trading is risky. You can lose money at trading, so please check with your financial advisor. Please check with your significant other and make sure trading is something that is suitable for you. All right, let's jump over to these charts and see what we see on the Dow. Maximize this quarterly chart. What we see is green. We see green. We got a small candle. It's been trading pretty tight this month, not going anywhere too fast. But we do have higher lows and higher highs, so we are still looking fairly bullish at this time. And everything is still looking good to the upside. And that's pretty much it, what we see here on this picture at this time. Let's go ahead and go down to the monthly chart and see what we see there. On this monthly chart, what we see again is green. And we see that we are trading above, but it's first month of the quarter, so no big deal about on these quarterly pivots. We are above pivot. Let's see, make sure we can stay above pivot. The other thing, we did come to an R1 level and pull back a little bit. You know, the market was really been kind of hot, and being above the 9-10 moving average. I mean, technically we are in a bull market, plus along with being above pivot, that's really pretty good and pretty strong. You know, so everything is looking pretty good for the bulls here on this monthly chart. Let's go ahead and go down to the weekly chart and see what we see there on this weekly chart. Zoom in here. You don't, again, on this chart right here, there is a 50 and 200. We are so far extended off that 50, you know, and this market has been so hot, you know, we don't see those indicators. But that's the only, again, I'm the type, I don't like a lot of different indicators. Me and my pivots are enough, and I like seeing the levels in the market and how the market trade around these levels and stuff. So that's what's important to me when I'm looking at the big picture. As you can see how the market stayed above that level. We gotten across an R1 at this time on this weekly thing for this month, and these are monthly pivots, and it's above pivot, stay above pivot. It went up to an R2 level and having a hard time crossing that after getting across an R1 early in the month, first week of the month. So again, that's what I'm looking at, again, based on one of the strategies that I like doing. You know, it helps me see what's happening, and gives me a heads up of where I should be at and what I should be doing. That's pretty much that on that. So on this weekly chart, as I was saying, these are monthly pivots, and that's again the trades that I usually do around there is for months, for the month, you know. But let's go ahead and go down to this daily chart and see what we see here on this daily chart, this daily noise. It was a holiday week, and also this week the market did drop down on Monday after option expiration. That's what this line here is, and everybody was kind of wondering what was going on, and was coming down here to fill this gap. I don't know, but again, the market didn't do anything too crazy. On this one here, we only dropped down to a support 2. We didn't come down all the way down to a support 3 where it would have been an oh my god type buy, and it just dropped here to a support 2, and you kind of like, oh, okay, you see a confirmation candle, you see the market pulling back up the next day, you're in that thing and you stay in that thing until it tells you to get out, at least to pivot, because again, under pivot, stay under pivot. It came to pivot, gave you a nice exit, and it gapped up a little bit more, and you don't worry about that. And then today you're doing the happy man dance that you did get out of that trade that you was in there long, and the other thing that I see happening right here on the chart that you need to be kind of aware of is this evening star. These 3 candles right here, this green candle, this green doji here, and then this red candle right here. The question is now, will we get a confirmation candle come Monday? Look like we will be opening above pivot. These are weekly pivots, and since this market closed right here, but what could happen if we end up getting a confirmation candle of this evening star pattern that we see, this market could drop back down here to this area here, but I expect this candle to be pretty much a pretty good demand level, and since this market kind of ran right back out of there. So, at most come next week, if we do get a turnaround of this evening star, and I don't expect us to go below pivot. This is support 1 level, and before we reverse back. That's what I see here, and that's what could happen. But above pivot, we open above pivot, stay above pivot, and then come next week, I want to see if we can make new all-time highs. This is just right at those highs, and will we peak above there and get new all-time highs? And if it decides to ignore what we're seeing here on this particular pattern and try to go higher. But that's it. We need some good news in order for that to happen, I think. Other than that, it's going to be a rough week probably next week. And that's all I have for this week here. This is Right Side Trader. Hope you guys had a great week. Hope you guys have a great weekend, and I'll speak to you next week. Have a good one. Right Side Trader here. Subscribe, like, tell others if you like what you're hearing and like what you're seeing. I'll talk to you later. Have a good one. Bye.